Do you need to be creative to pass the B2 First writing exam? No, you don't. Well, maybe a little bit. But don't worry, because if you struggle with creativity, then this video is for you. My name is Toby, this is Smash English, and here is everything you need to know if you are not creative to pass the B2 First writing exam. Part 1 of the B2 First writing exam consists of writing an essay. The B2 First essay requires you to write an essay about a topic, including 3 prompts. 2 of these prompts are given to you, and one of them you must invent yourself in your head. Ooh. Now, does this require creativity? No, because the topic of the essay will always be about something boring that you have read about during your exam preparation. Education, the environment, sports, family, going on holiday, learning a language. Seriously, if you have been following an English textbook, then you will be bored to death of these topics, and trust me, you will not need creativity. Creating your own prompt is one of the easiest things you can do, I promise. So, we have established that creating your own prompt is not difficult and does not require creativity. What about writing the essay itself? Do you need to be creative to write an essay? Maybe in general you do, but at the B2 First level, no, you don't, especially if you follow my structure. I have literally planned out everything for you and it requires 0 creativity, right here. For your introduction, you need to write 1 general sentence about the topic. This means that you need to think of 1 sentence about something, but just 1. You don't need to be creative to do that. Seriously, you can practice this alone, all the time, in your head. Think of 1 sentence about the environment, 1 sentence about the importance of family, 1 sentence about technology today, 1 sentence about public transport. Just look at things and say, can I think of 1 sentence about this thing? Of course you can. You don't need to be creative to do that. I promise you, you don't. The essay itself must be between 140 and 190 words. If you follow my structure, that amounts to about 3 sentences for each prompt. I promise you, you can write 3 sentences about each prompt, and some of those sentences I have already written for you in my structure. So, do you need to be creative? No, just do what I say and you'll be fine. I promise. See, I'm promising. Look at this face. Don't you trust this face? Yeah. And lastly, you need to write your conclusion. And your conclusion just summarises what you have already written and then gives your opinion. And you don't need to be creative to present your opinion. So again, no. So do you need to be creative to write an essay for the B2 First Cambridge exam? No. If anything, being creative could be a negative, because the more creative you are, the more likely you are to move away from the topic and start including irrelevant information. And if you do that, the examiners get very, very angry and they give you less marks. So maybe when you're writing your essay, don't be creative. Just follow the structure, follow the rules, and get high marks. Yes, yes. Now, part 2 of the writing exam is different because you choose which writing task you want to do. You could choose to write an informal or formal letter or email, or a report, or an article, or a review, or if you are doing B2 First for schools, you could write a story. So the question is, do you need to be creative to do part 2 of the B2 First writing exam? And the answer is, it's your choice. Your choice. If you are a creative person and taking B2 First for schools, then obviously writing a story is a fantastic option for you, because you can use narrative tenses, adjectives, and invent a situation in your head and explain that to the reader. If you are not taking B2 First for schools and you are very creative, then maybe consider writing an article or a review where you need to grab the reader's attention, where you need to use colourful language so they want to read more, where you can use phrasal verbs and idioms, and boy oh boy oh boy, we can construct something magnificent. But what if you don't want to do that? Well, write a report, because a report is very, very boring. Seriously, a report is mostly structure, and if you follow the structure, you will do well. A report isn't so much about what you write, but how you write it and how you organize your ideas and your text. The trick is reading the question and applying it to the structure. And this is not about creativity. This is about exam technique. And if you want to learn all about writing a report, then watch this here. A formal letter may also be a good idea if you are not a creative person. This is because formal structures are easy to remember and you can simply reproduce them when you enter the examination room. You don't need to use phrasal verbs or idioms. Just remember these formal expressions and you'll be fine. Again, the key is practice. The key is reading a question, understanding what that question is asking you to do, and then applying that to a structure that you already have in your head because you've practiced a lot. Learn all about that right here. So, do you need to be creative to pass the B2 First writing exam? Well, no you don't. And actually, when you're writing an essay, being creative could hurt you because you may include irrelevant information and the examiners will punish you for it. When it comes to part 2, if you're creative, sure, write a story, an article, a review about a magnificent imaginary product. That's fine. If you're not, write a report or a formal letter where creativity is not that important. The trick is understanding the structures, understanding the questions, and being able to apply each question to a specific structure that you have already learned. Yes? Yes. Hope that was helpful. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.